What's going on, you guys? It's Cody. Welcome back to the channel where I talk about all things money, stocks, and real estate. Today, I want to talk about how EV companies saw a massive drop right as the market opened and then rebounded very quickly. After that, we're going to talk about SBE, aka Chargepoint, that upcoming merger, where the stock is at, where it's going, and a couple thoughts about why I love this company so much and what I think the potential outlook is for this particular company. This morning, I was doing some research on these EV companies because they had pulled back massively over the last week or so. Every single EV company out there, at least most of them, had pulled back, and even Tesla this morning had pulled back as well. So I was looking at it thinking, okay, where's this going to stop? What's going to happen? What's the catalyst that needs to turn this around and actually get these share prices going back up? So I was looking at it, and then all of a sudden the market opens, and boom, everything drops like 10%. I was absolutely blown away. I was like, uh-oh, this is not good. And then I literally like turned around, was getting some coffee this morning, and looked back, and all of a sudden they're back up again. I'm thinking, what the heck? What the crap just happened, right? So I started looking into it, start trying to find any news that I can about what happened. I don't know, maybe somebody just sold off some super massive positions. Maybe they had just opened lower, but there was demand with fill orders waiting to happen as soon as the market opened. I don't really know what happened, but I did find an article that said, hey, Li Auto is to issue more shares of the company, and they want to do a fundraising round where they're actually going to issue more shares, sell them on the public market, and be able to raise additional money. I think this is supposed to be upwards of 1.5 billion that they're going to potentially raise here. So I think that was, what caused the drop for that particular company at least. But it was interesting because it happened across all EV companies. They all saw this massive drop before rebounding. So I think that Li Auto had something to do with that, issuing more shares. That's actually a dilution of the shares that people already have. So typically investors don't like that, but I don't know. It rebounded so quickly and then actually is going up now. And I think it might be, that might be kind of that indicator that, hey, maybe we're past this pullback. Maybe we're moving forward again. Maybe the stock's going to go up. I don't know. My personal opinion, I think it's going to go up, but I think it could come back down again. I still think there's going to be volatility. I still think there's a lot of traders in these particular stocks, and I think that there's still going to be a lot of long-term uncertainty for at least the next little while. So be careful with those. If you're buying in today, don't feel like you maybe missed out. I think there's still some opportunity to buy in at a lower price. I'm still going to hold on and see what I can do to get in at a cheaper price as well. But unfortunately, this is just the way that things go sometimes. So pretty much all these companies have been climbing very nicely. Xpeng's up, NIO's up, Li is up quite a bit as well. BYD not so much. Tesla's actually pulled back. Tesla's sitting at a share price right now of 565. So that's actually pulled back. SBE's been kind of flat after dropping quite a bit. Blink is up, however. I'm not so sure I love Blink, but some other ones. Even Nikola is up right now. Nikola saw some drops over the past couple of days as their GM deal fell apart, and then also the founder Trevor Milton had his shares unlocked and were able to be sold on the open market as well. So people were kind of thinking, oh, is he going to sell off? Is he going to hold on to them? I don't know. I think personally, he'd be an idiot if he was going to sell off all of his shares all at once and get out of the company. I think he'll probably kind of dabble, right? He's still got like over $1.9 billion worth of shares at the current share price. So I think he's going to kind of sell off. He might sell out of this stock over the next year, maybe 2 years, if he even chooses to do so, right? Nobody knows what he's going to do, but I think that's kind of where it could go. He's not going to sell everything all at once just to cash out, even though he has stepped down from his position. Anyway, that's not what this video is about. What I want to talk about here is SBE and Chargepoint. Sorry for the tangent. I want to talk about where this stock is at, where it's headed, and what you're going to see in the next little bit. Well, the share is up massively over the last month or so. During the month of November, we saw it climb from about $13 to a peak of over $37. This was about 170% gain just in this 1 month, and now it's pulled back and is currently sitting around that like $26, $27 mark, I think. We're sitting at $27.57. So the stock has pulled back quite a bit since then. I still think there's a lot of potential for this company, and I've still got a very good outlook on it. I think it'll probably, I don't know, it's going to fluctuate a little bit, but as that merger comes closer, which is supposed to happen by the end of the year, with the merger for SBE as the company that's merging with Chargepoint, I think there could be, another surge in this as the news gets announced or as the deal actually approaches and gets a little bit closer. So I wouldn't be surprised if the share price of this company does again go past $30. If it does, I think everybody's going to be sitting pretty. I know that I'm sitting pretty on the shares that I own in this company as well. I made over 1,000% gain on some options that I had on this particular stock as well. So very happy with that. The thing that I love about this company is right now they're sitting about a $2 billion market cap. They're expecting revenues in 2020 of about $135 million, and they're expected for that revenue to just go straight up, basically hockey stick style, like they say, over the next couple of years. Expect that revenue to climb to over $2 billion in 2026. That's 6 years out, but I think there's going to be a ton of massive growth. Going from $135 million to $2 billion in 6 years is amazing growth. And there's obviously a lot of opportunity for that because Chargepoint is the #1 player in this space. They have over 65% market share and they're growing like crazy. And the thing that I always look at is, look, I've got a Tesla, so I fall into that EV space of needing these chargers. Well, there's one Tesla charger in my market, and that's about 20 minutes away. It doesn't really make sense for me to drive all the way there just to charge up, right? So I got looking into this a couple months ago and I said, hey, where are these other chargers at? Because there's got to be some out there. And turns out there's over 15 Chargepoint chargers within 10 minutes of me where I live. So 15 chargers compared to one that's 20 minutes away for the Tesla supercharger, that's a massive difference, right? I think there's a lot of potential for this because Chargepoint is actually, basically teaming up with other companies, businesses, landlords, whatever, to put these chargers in and have people be able to use them. So they're going to be able to grow much quicker. And I think that even though as a Tesla owner, of course, I would go to the supercharger first if it were available. If it's in the area that I'm going to go to, yeah, I'm going to stop there first. But I think for a lot of other companies, especially as other major automakers roll out EV vehicles, I think they're going to see, a lot of these people going to these other Chargepoint locations as well. So even though Tesla dominates right now, I still think that within, 2-3 years, as these other companies roll out and sell a lot more EV vehicles, Chargepoint's going to see massive revenue growth. I don't know, guys. I absolutely love the company, but it's just a little bit hard for me as a Tesla owner. If I'm going on a road trip, I'm going to actually look, hey, where are these superchargers, right? Because they space them out so nicely that you can stop at a supercharger and get to every single destination that you're going without having to go anywhere else. So of course, I'm going to stop at those locations that have superchargers rather than going to a charge point, right? Why would I if I drive a Tesla? But I think for the people that are just driving around town and don't maybe have a Tesla or don't need one, or maybe there's not one that's in a convenient location, yeah, I would definitely see them stopping at a charge point location. I know I would, because there's one just right down the street from where I work and another one right down the street from where I live. So I think that's really convenient. The only thing that I'm a little bit hesitant on knowing where this company is going to go is actually the fact that, a lot of people who own EV vehicles, especially right now, just because they're at a slightly higher price point than your average vehicle, most of these people who own these cars have a home and have a garage, right? Where they're going to charge overnight. I know that for myself, I just charge my car overnight. I'm on the basic charging system right now and it does fine. I drive quite a bit as a real estate agent, so I'm driving all around town, showing houses, going to appointments, but I don't really ever need, more charge than what I have at home. So I just plug it in every single night, it charges back up and I'm good to go. So I don't, that's the only thing I'm a little bit nervous about is like, hey, what's the likelihood that somebody would need to go to the chargers instead of just charging at home, right? Because for myself, I've only used, with the exception of the road trip, I've only used this Tesla superchargers twice in the 6 months that I've owned the car. So I've only used it twice. It's not like gas, it's not like a gas station where you have to go every single week or whatever. I mean, I've only used that twice in the last 6 months. So I don't know. It's still, the jury's still out, on how that's going to shape up for people who need to use this on a regular basis. Again, I think as they continue to roll out and as more of these electric vehicles are sold, I think there's going to be a greater majority of people who need access to these chargers, just around town. Anyways, with that said, we're going to jump into the stock chart here. We're going to take a look at SBE first. We're going to be using the Webull platform. If you haven't used Webull before, make sure to get your 2 free stocks. I think it's actually might be 3 or 4 free stocks right now with Webull if you sign up and deposit $100 using the link below in the description. I really appreciate the support here on the channel. I know a lot of people are pitching that. So I just, it's my humble ask. Hey, if you haven't done it already, you like the content that I'm putting out, I'd appreciate it if you use that content. So anyways, let's jump in over here and take a look. All right, guys. So jumping into the chart here, I've got SBE pulled up and you can see just this massive run that we've experienced. So in November, nothing had really happened. We're sitting at that $16 mark. And then as soon as like November 16th, this is when it just really started to take off, coming up here to the high $30 mark on the share price. And then it's been dropping ever since November 24th. We've been pulling back. And then today, here's that massive drop that we saw earlier this morning, right when the market opened. And you can see that it's kind of recovered. So it was sitting here at roughly that $29.20 mark, dropped all the way down to $26. I mean, $3 worth of share price gone. I think that's almost 10%. So absolutely crazy, and then jump back up, and now we're sitting at $29.20. So I still think this company has a lot of potential. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below about where this stock is going and what your thoughts are about the kind of the charging stations and everything I mentioned with this particular company. Is it going to be a concern, or is it something that you're not really concerned with? Let's take a look at these other companies as well. So Li Auto, same thing. Is trading here in the low 40s, and then it's just been pulling back over the last week or so, and now we're sitting at 34.36. So again, this one was dropping because of that. The fact that they said, hey, we want to release more shares. It did see a pullback based off of that sell-off, and then it's kind of been sitting flat here for the last little while. So again, let's take a look at some of these other ones. Nikola, same thing, man. It's crazy. Trading in the high 30s. This stock is an absolute roller coaster. It's just absolutely nuts what this one does. Again, huge sell-off. Expecting a further sell-off here, but it actually did increase. We're sitting up 4.5% on that one. Blink Charging. Again, this one kind of goes in line with SBE. I think there's some similarities here. The only thing I don't love about this one is it's valued way too high for the actual amount of business that they're doing and for the amount of market share that they have. SBE is a way better company to invest in. Chargepoint is so far ahead, and they've got such a head start on this and such a big, massive market share that I think that they're just going to have a lot more potential in the long run. You can see here they're up 2.5% as well. All right, now moving on, we've got Xpeng here. Look at this massive drop that we saw in the morning. Like I said, it was just sitting at about that $52 mark. Actually dropped all the way down to below. I think it was below 50 when I saw it earlier. I could be wrong, but I believe it was actually below that, down to like 10%. Again, that $46 mark. So not sure what happened here. I was looking at it on Robinhood on my phone, but again, just saw this nice steady climb up here to about $55. Pulled back a little bit, sitting at 54 right now. So if we actually zoom out here, let's go to the 1 month chart here. You can see this massive climb here. Just climbing over the month of November, hitting a high of $74, and then coming back down to that $53 mark. So I still think it's going to be extremely volatile. It's still going to see some ups and downs at this point. So we'll see how that kind of plays out over the next little while. But I still think there's a lot of long-term potential, just not quite as much short-term potential. I wouldn't be surprised if this company, if Xpeng and Neo do get back up into that $60, $70, $80 mark by the end of next year, middle to end of next year. So Neo, kind of the same story here. This big massive drop right here, coming down all the way to like 40. I think it was like a 41, 42 when I saw it. I saw this big drop right here, and then it kind of came back up, climbed back up, and sitting at 45.70. So anyways, guys, that is a wrap on this video. Thank you so much for watching. Give me a thumbs up here on the video if you enjoyed this content. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel where I talk about all things money, stocks, and real estate. I'd love for you to follow along on the journey, and until next time.